Are you nervous?
Listen, never get nervous. No, I'm gonna be honest. Of all the things we've done to the truck, this is the one that's I have the most apprehension about.
What's the size of the hole we're about to cut in this thing?
Big. Size big. First thing is we're gonna remove this plastic trim and the fender liner. There's not a whole lot left in my fender liner. I've cut a lot of it out already. But we're gonna take that out. So we're gonna need whatever you call this thing.
It's like body panel
trim remover tool.
Oh.
And a trusty 10mm socket. So we're gonna start with the socket.
Are you even working on a vehicle if you're not using a 10mm socket?
Better question, are you even working on a vehicle if you haven't lost your 10mm socket? Everybody knows it's the most valuable tool. Also, it should be noted before doing this, I ran to the hardware store and picked up a pack of molding adhesive because once we pull this off, it's likely that that adhesive is not going to be good anymore. So we're just going to go ahead and instead of messing with it, we're going to take it off, clean all that old stuff off, and put new adhesive on there. I put it up against a rock or a tree at Potts Mountain, and so now I've already
Alright, so that was...
And what's left was a bumper.
Relax. Did you just break that one off?
I don't know.
It looks a lot like you did.
It looks like I'm breaking like
you
all
broke
of them.
that. Look guys, this is what you don't want to do because you want to be able to put this back on and have no concern of it falling or flapping off.
Let's see if I can.
Yeah, maybe see if you can remove that underneath so we can see what the back side of these look like.
Yeah, one more.
Yes.
All right, so there's a lot more of these clips than we thought. Also, they're not regular clips. These have a tab on the back side. You can't just pop them out. They've got on the inside 2 tabs, and they're everywhere. And then on the fender trim, with these blue pieces, it's real easy to break them. I broke half of them, half of them. One side here is broken. If you can get the liner out first, then you can come around on the inside. On the back side, they've got tabs on the sides. It might be easier
to not break them.
If you go from the inside of the fender. All right, the next step is we're gonna remove the airbox lid, the filter, and then the box itself. Got the airbox out. We're gonna remove the entry into the box, which is this piece. It's pretty clear that I needed it. Look at all that mud. So I've cleaned out the inside a bit because an extra optional step we're gonna do, there's a little drain hole here. We're gonna fill that up with silicone because we want this to be watertight, and that is not watertight, all right? So seal this up, let that dry while we get to the next part. We've got the template that unrolls and goes across the fender to show us where to drill. Let's go ahead and put that on. Boom. All right, now we've got it up. We're gonna use the punch to punch our 6 holes. Mark the circle. Then we're gonna take the template off.
Ooh, we're in it now.
So we've drilled out the larger holes for the bolts. Now the real point of no return.
What are you doing with that hammer?
How do I show you? That's how, so step one is you just round this out. No, that's not what you do.
Oh.
Get a big dish, make it a bowl. No. So we're gonna use our punch. I'm gonna knock a punch in the 4 sides of this oval. And then I'm gonna drill that out on the inside of my line as a large hole. And that's where I'll put the air saw in. So then I'll cut with the air saw from here to here, from here to here, all the way around. That way I don't have to do one continuous smooth cut. I've got stop points. So let's knock some holes. Daisy loves this part.
Yes, guys, I'm still here. He just had me removing adhesive from the fender trim.
She's the real MVP.
It was a great time. Had a great time.
So I'm taking this hole right up to the edge of my line.
Don't make that face. You're in it now, babe. Woo.
You like the sound of that one? This is a new one. We bought this just for this. I didn't have, you know, I was like, oh man, not looking forward to cutting this hole. So I reached out to Ryan from Mike Johnson's Toyota, our Toyota guy. And I was like, Ryan, what do I do? I gotta cut this big hole. And he said, get an air saw. It'll pay for itself. And I said, all right, you talked me into it, bought it.
That was easy.
Here we go. Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah, new tools.
Yeah. You want to need a new tool? All right.
Ryan said I need it.
Ryan said I need it. We trust him. All right, we've got our hole cut. Now I've taken the sharp edges off. Now we're gonna go behind a little touch-up paint on the raw edge just to make sure we don't get any rust. Because as we all know, Toyotas like to rust.
Hey, Dad.
We're gonna do the same thing on the bolt holes. All right, so the next part is test fitment. We're gonna start with these. These studs are going in the holes in the body of the snorkel. We're gonna drop a little bit of Loctite on them, thread those in here. It says do not over tighten. So we're gonna try not to over tighten.
And those are what's going to go through the small holes you cut to the truck,
this goes
correct?
through the holes in the body.
So we chose not to make them as large as the paper said. Should we slip one in the hole just to confirm that's going to work?
Well, I know that these are gonna fit into the hole. I just don't know why. For whatever reason in the instruction manual, they say to drill the holes in the body like more than twice the size of these. And it seems excessive. So I didn't. I drilled them a little bit larger than these. My thought process being, if I need to go larger, I can, but if I drill them holes really big, I can't make them any smaller. So we'll see what happens.
All right, so as it turns out,
We do need to make these bigger. They've made the holes larger to accommodate any sort of error that you may have had in spacing these out, in drilling them and marking them with the paper template. So now we're doing what they said. 16 millimeters, it's a big hole. Next part is we test fit the snorkel. We put it up here, you know, got it finger tight, and we marked where this bracket's gonna be. It's a little weird because it didn't look like it lined up properly to the body when it was on the snorkel. But the last time I didn't think what they said made sense and I ignored it. I looked stupid. So I'm just gonna do what they said. Just put a dot where I'm gonna drill. Now they do specify when you drill this, put a piece of tape over your drill bit so you don't go very far in here, because if you go too far, you're gonna hit your airbag.
oh,
All right, so we got our 3 holes drilled. We're gonna put a little silicone on there. We don't want water getting into the cab. Gonna put just a little bit over each hole before we rivet the plate on there. We might go ahead and stick one other rivet in the hole just to make sure we keep it lined up. Boom. There's 3 lugs here on the airbox. We're gonna use the grinder to take these off so that the sleeve of the whatever rubber
Why do you have
bendy
to
thing.
look at it through the camera? I'm holding the camera, baby. You just look at the actual thingy.
Just don't worry about what I'm doing.
But
You worry about what you're doing.
He's holding it up to the phone. He's holding it up to the camera and then looking at the screen to see if he's holding it in the right location.
Don't worry. Look, I can't hear you. We're gonna take the hose, the rubber hose they've got, and we're gonna fish it underneath the fender nut stay here. And we're gonna feed this portion. See this notched area? That's gonna squeeze into this hole right here. Pretty easy to do. We're gonna put the air box back in. And when we do, I've put the, you gotta make sure, put this hose clamp on here first. If you don't, you're not gonna have a good time taking everything back apart. I'm trying to decide which way I think I'm gonna have more room to get to this screw. I think it's gonna be to the front. And that's seated in there just fine. I've got the clamp on the inside of the hose seated. We're gonna fit this in there, slide it on but not tighten the clamp. Then we're gonna get all of our bolts, our nuts, finger tight, tighten the clamp, tighten up all the nuts. You ready? Didn't think it would take this long, guys. But look, it's getting dark. So we're in the final steps though. We're tightening up bolts. Everything's connected. The airbox is connected. The hose is connected. Connected to the snorkel. The bolts are all in. All we gotta do, we gotta tighten up the 6 in the fender here. We gotta put our adhesive back on, which is the step that I'm looking forward to the least. Put the adhesive back in, put the snaps back in. That's a wrap. So let's finish it up.
That kind of stuff. That kind of stuff.
And make sure we get a nice pressure on that adhesive. When it came time to purchase a snorkel, we went with the Dobinsons option. It seems to be identical to its competitors and comes in at a fraction of the price. So far, we love it, and not just for its looks, but for the peace of mind it gives me. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on our upcoming adventures.